Okay, good morning. We're back to our morning Shalom Bayit Shiur. So we continue on what it means to be a man, correct? What's his father? Yeah. Yeah. So he says like this. Yesterday we said that what? The man came, he wanted his wife to die. He says, Rabbi, find me a way. So the rabbi found him a way. He says, make a neder and don't fulfill the neder. But he said, but look, be nice to her for the next 3 weeks, and then she's going to go. So he says, okay, I'll be nice to her for 3 weeks. So he was nice to her first week, second week. By the third week, he sees, why? She's 10 times more nice than he is. He comes running to the rabbi saying, what? Rabbi, please find a way not to kill her because she's a wonderful woman. Please not to die. He says, listen, we can't. You made a neder. And the neder was to build a very expensive mikvah, and he built a mikvah. And he understood that what? She was not herself because he was not himself. Once he became himself, she became herself. Here? So there's a big correlation over here. So he says, we continue from there. It says, dear reader, I want you to understand, if you fulfill your role as a husband properly, there is no reason why you won't have a peaceful and successful relationship with your wife. Just remember that you must be a man. He says, all depends on you. Sometimes couples come to me, but I find myself talking to two females. Yeah? He says, I can't make peace between two females in what's supposed to be a male-female relationship. The husband says, she should make the first move. She should correct her behavior. And she understandably says, no, he's the one who needs to change. Yeah? There is no solution in such a situation. Apart from the husband learning to become a man, he says we cannot talk to two women. That's why one is a man, one is a woman. You understand? He says if I'm talking to two women, then he's saying she should change. He's being a woman. And she, of course, saying what she's supposed to say. No, he should change. Why? Because if he's first as a man, then I will follow suit. Here, therefore, we as men have to take charge and do what's right. This explains the Talmud in Kiddushin that says, happy is one who has a male son, right? Ben Zachar. Wait, what Ben Zachar? What do you mean Ben Zachar? Yeah? And woe to the one whose sons are females. The Gemara says that. It's a merit to have sons who behave as males and not as females. People laugh when they said, listen, you're attributing some female characteristics. They're like, ha 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 ha. They don't understand what that means. They think a man, what do you mean? I'm not a female. Yeah, you're not a female. You're a fully grown man. Yeah? And your voice is deep and you have broad shoulders. Yeah, and you're very strong. And you have everything that it needs to be a man. However, on an emotional level, you're very much a female as much as your wife is. Why? Because you want her to be gentle and you want her to praise you and you want her to uplift you. What's uplifting? You're a man. What do you mean? You're supposed to uplift her. You're not supposed to be uplifted. It says the phenomenon of men losing their male characteristics stems from violating personal holiness. Ooh, ah. He says when men lust for sexual pleasure and satisfaction, in other words, when they want to take and receive, they lose their true male potency, which is their power to give. This then leads to their acquiring other female traits such as seeking honor, seeking attention, empathy, and the like. When a husband violates his personal holiness and lusts after his wife, he reverses the roles with her. He puts her into the position of giving and himself in the position of taking. This can only lead to him becoming miserable and weak. For further discussion of this point, refer to the chapter, and their faces were towards one another. Basically he's saying, when a man is too much lusting, what's lust? I want. You hear? And when you too much want and you don't want to give, then it becomes a problem. You become like a female. Female, she always wants. You understand? And therefore he says, when you are lusting for your wife or for any other woman, right, you become a taker. You become one who wants to satisfy his desires. And when you do that, you start to show female characteristics here. And now you're going to have big issues. I was talking to somebody the other day and I said, listen, it's interesting. Women always hate women, yeah? For some reason, there's always rivalry between women, yeah? It's natural, it's known. Huh? Oh, so he says, imagine when you have a husband and wife, and the man is attributing woman characteristics. Guess what? It's two women in the house, and now they can't stand each other. You hear? They start to hurt they start to hate each other.
Question.
Yes.
So I know we're going to get into it later on in the book, but that line that when a man lusts after his wife.
Yes.
What's the fine line between wanting to be with one's wife and lusting?
Oh, very good.
What is that?
Rabbi, you want to answer? He says lusting for one's wife is no good. Meaning when you can't say. So this is what he means. There's one thing to make your wife feel good.
Okay.
There's another thing to make yourself feel good. So exactly. So unfortunately, many marriages, it's the man who wants to satisfy himself first. That's why he only needs 5 minutes. You hear? However, to become a giver, you know what a giver means? It's when you're not in the mood and you're tired and she is. Now you have to get you out of yourself and give her what she needs. However, we only desire after our lusts. And even when she might not want to, right? We still in the mood. No. I need to satisfy my desire. And therefore you're a taker. You're not a giver. However, if your mind will be a giver, as initially we were brought up, right? We would look at this whole thing differently. That's why, in the past they were able to have 4, 5 wives. Why? Because they were givers. They were not lust seekers. And nowadays we cannot. Why? We're lust seekers. It would be it would be unimaginable for us to understand what it means to give to 2, 3, 4 wives. We would be seeking on what we could take, and guess what? We wouldn't be able to give.
That's actually why the takana was made, because men were using that for the wrong reasons.
Exactly. Yes. So he says in conclusion, we can say that there are 3 levels of a husband. Look at the 3 levels of husbands. Level number 1, true male husband. With one reading of this book, such a husband will learn all he needs to and will be able and willing to put into practice. He is already a giver, so it will come naturally to him. So it's his first level of a man. He says, wow, I didn't know that I have to do these following things, I need to not negative comments to my wife. I need to make her number 1. I need to always give. I don't need to seek. I shouldn't be emotional and wanting to be emotionally fulfilled. Why? Because that's not a man. So he says, first level is a man. He understands he made a mistake. He gets up and he does what he has to do. Second level husband is a husband who has female characteristics, but is aware and he wants to change. This book will serve as a comprehensive guide for him. If he learns it, reviews it once a month, and tries to fulfill everything written in it, he will definitely merit becoming a man and achieve lasting peace in his home. Also, second level is he's trying to be a man. He understands he has some female characteristics. He understands that. And what he's going to do is he's going to work on himself. You hear? Third level husband is one who has such female characteristics that he cannot give up anything, including his desire to take. This book won't help him unless he realizes how far he has fallen and starts to pray every day that Hashem help him to become male again. The most important area for him to work on is his personal holiness, the most fundamental mitzvah for men. He must start to learn to pray and to stay as far away from sexual lust as he can, both outside and inside the home, as we'll see later in chapter 6. Here, so he says, then there's the last husband. This book will not help him. You know why? He's already so steeped into this desire of taking. I want honor. I want this. I want to be respected. I want to be treated with niceness. I want you to compliment me. You hear? So this type of man, he says, it's an end game for him. Why? Now he has to start to realize that he has this problem in order to work this problem out of himself, and then to implement what this book has to say. Here, a reminder: everyone, even truly male husbands, should review this book at least once a month. I myself have reviewed these ideas countless times and have prayed at length for every point in this book. Even today, as a grandfather whose white hair and my beard outnumbered the black ones, not a day goes by without my praying for peace with my wife, that I should feel all her needs, not withholding anything from her, and not making comments to her. All these things must be reviewed and prayed again and again. I hereby bless every husband who assumes the task of learning this book diligently and reviewing it at least once a month, that he should merit true peace at his home, righteous children, happiness and riches, and everything good in this world and the next one. Amen. Basically, he's saying a concept that every human being has. Yeah? When the first time we learn about how important it is to say Asher Yatzar, not moving, not this, not that, or any other halakha, right? But I'll say Asher Yatzar because this happens to me a lot. What do? For the next week or 2 or 3, we Asher Yatzar et Adam. But then, as we forget the halakha and we don't really review the halakha, slowly, you know what happens? We walk in Asher Yatzar with and then we're like, did I even say Asher Yatzar? You know, you might have said it, but you don't remember because you said it so quickly that you, whatever, right? So what happens? Then all of a sudden you hear shiur, Asher Yatzar, this, that. And again, what happens? Again, for the next 2-3 weeks, maybe a month, you're like, Asher Yatzar. You're standing, why? You heard the shiur. And then again, he says, similarly with this, if you're not going to have this book on hand and constantly review it and constantly understand the concepts, guess what? Once we fold this book, after 2 months, we're back to our old self. Negative comments, who you think you are. You hear? So he says that's why, not only with this book, but with everything else, we have to do what's called chazara. Now I understand the old adage of that when they say you learn Torah, chazara. You learn Torah, review. That's why we do Shnai Mikra, right? Reading the Parsha twice with it. Every time we read it the second time, we're like, oh wow, I didn't know this. Yeah, you've been reading it 15 years already. It's not that. Sometimes you knew it, but you forgot. Yeah, sometimes you really didn't see it. Sometimes different angle that you look up at. That's why it's very important to review these concepts all the time. Yeah? Yeah, that's it. Yalla.
Then why are you here, my friend?
15 years ago, I read it also. 15, 20 years ago. Yeah.
I read it,
Yeah.
but I don't implement it.
No, he says you have to, even if you read it, right? Even if you read it, you have to read it again because you're going to have a different understanding of the whole concept. We're on chapter 5. Chapter 5 says like this, honor your wife. It says, unlike a man whose principal evil inclination is the lust for forbidden sexual relations, a woman's principal evil inclination is the desire for honor. A woman longs for, more than anything else in the world, specifically from her husband, and she will go to any lengths to get it. This is what our sages meant when they said that women are lightheaded, yeah? Because when she is given honor and a few kind words, a woman can be swayed in any direction. You hear what he says? He says, a man, you give him lust, you give him women, that's all he needs. A woman, you give her honor to the point, and we all know how this is a fact. You give a woman a couple of nice words, a couple of compliments, you honor her, yeah? You can chas v'shalom turn her any which way around. Now, knowing this concept, how could any man that's married say, no, she's like this, she's like that? No, you just don't know how to handle her. You do not know how to handle her. No, she's different. She's not different. She's the same woman as Hashem created a long time ago. And she has the same characteristics that are ingrained in her that what? I want kind words. I want honor. I want you to be nice to me. Any woman you stop on the street right now, yes, please, let me know one thing you want from your husband. They're all going to tell you the same thing. None of them want the money, not the money and the expensive bags and the this and that. It's a byproduct of the fact that they're not getting that. So they're thinking, if he's going to get me this, then he's going to honor me. Then he Kilo honors me, right? And then he gets her this and she's like, next. That doesn't still the honor because they need a constant. It's a constant thing right now, right? Imagine a man, right? He wakes up on Monday. He lusts. What? Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, that's it? Finish the lust? No! Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and again it starts again. Same thing with a woman. You cannot honor her on Monday and think Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, that's it. Yeah, I'm good. No, no, no. Tuesday, Wednesday. She wants a constant, just like we. Yeah.
That's gonna work only if you're married to the right person.
No.
What if you're married to somebody who takes advantage of you?
No such thing. No such
Then
thing.
why there's divorces?
Oh, you, my friend, you came one class after 90 classes that we have, right? You came one class.
listen to you
Excuse
on
me,
YouTube.
why divorces?
Excuse me.
Yeah. He's giving you fundamental breakdown of a man and a woman. And listen, tell me something. How many ways could a person cut hair, honestly?
Anyway,
Yeah, but at the end of the day, the result is the same result, no? Because you're not going to start cutting his feet if you need to give him a haircut, right? You're not going to start giving him his nail cut if you need a. So he's saying, when you're talking to the woman, or you're trying to make this woman to be loved, you're doing over there when you need to be doing here. Here, he tells you there's things you need to do in order for the woman to melt. Once she's melted, that's it. You could form her any way you want, as long as she's under your. And what's the melt? Never negative comments, always good compliments, yeah, and make her number one. More important than anything else. Once she knows this fact, you're a winner.
You don't even have to tell her what to do.
Yeah.
Everything on
Zero. Now, I know what you're saying. You're looking at your ex-wife. First of all, your ex-wife would be an amazing individual if you treat her amazingly. Don't give me now, you gotta go and deeply inside and try to figure out how you were with her and this, that. But I've spoken to divorced men. Guess what they're saying now? The real men, you know what they said? My fault. Even the one whose wife went and cheated, you know what he said? My fault. My fault. He knows the truth. Why? Because after understanding this concept, you know what? I messed up. I really messed up. Why did she do that? Because she could not have done. He says she becomes crazy. The minute you start talking to her like a man, yeah, the minute you start treating her thinking that she understands the way you understand, you lost the game. And that's what we do. Because we don't know what she is. So therefore we're thinking she understands. In the other book with Rav Zamir Cohen, yeah, and this is a big getter. He says, why she always gets upset at me when I joke around with her? You know why? He goes, because she doesn't understand what a joke is. You think like, if I joke right now with Avram, hey Avram, why you know so big? Like, he laugh at me, I laugh at him, zeu, right? With the wife, you think you joke, sweetie, why you look pregnant? Why? Yeah, and then you're like, no, I'm just kidding. That's it. That is a blow to her so great, you don't understand. She's going to be thinking that for days and weeks and months. Oh my God. And she's going to go she's going to go to the gym. She's going to go here. She's going to tie her stomach in such a way. Johnny Kima, I love you like this. I was just joking.
Well, you believe there's such a thing as a joke like that? I don't think this.
No, again, there are.
No such joke.
One second. There are sometimes.
If it's hurtful, how could it be a joke?
Again, you see, if I tell you a hurtful word, you're not going to take it as she does. He says the woman is not able to. She's not a man, but we don't know that. So how many times we joke with our wives thinking it's ha ha ha? Sometimes it's a funny situation. Imam, it's a funny situation, and we really mean it as a joke. She does not understand that. And therefore, with our minds, when we think she's like us, major personally. She takes personally, because that's how she was built. And that's why he's saying over here, contrary to you and to many other people that are saying, no, there is such a thing as a good woman and there's such a thing as a bad woman.
But even the Rav says there's exceptions to the rule.
Again, a very, very, very extreme and those are usually with mental illnesses and things like that. But a normal woman, if you treat her the way she's supposed to be treated, I'm telling you,
My Rebbe used to say, he said, I was able to get married to 93-94% of the ladies,
Anna.
no matter what they are. Okay, loud, quiet, because you have to adjust yourself according to her.
It's the maximum. That's the Rebbe said?
Yeah.
Which Rebbe that?
No.
No.
When
School,
I was
Rebbe?
a teenager.
Okay.
He said you can manage with everybody. There is always 5 or 6% that are, extraordinary. He said always there is.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why there is a mitzvah to give a get. But he says most of it is doable. It is possible. It all depends who is the captain. People, the peleplaot, they coming with the mentality, I don't want to be a friar. That's what we heard all the time. To tell you, surprisingly, I heard this week that they went to one Rav and they told them somebody wants to give a class of Shlom Bayit from this book. from Rabbi Aaron Yosef. בשום אופן לא.
Wow.
מה יש? אומר, he making the man like a map.
Right.
That's what this rabbi said?
Okay. זה בוכרי זה.
No, and many people think that way.
Yeah, I know.
אה?
זה כמו פה, שאומר מה, אני אקרפקה?
So imagine now he will give advices of Shlom Bayit.
Oh,
Why?
That's why we end up here, Kudara.
מה?
That's why we end up here.
Видиш, Рабайн даже, есть такие романы, что думают, точно как и он думает, что тряпку мужчина.
But that's what unfortunately, that's when you don't know. You understand? When you don't know, this is what you say. So that'll be a never-ending Shalom Bayit situation. You understand? Because somebody has to take charge. He's saying, you know who has to take charge? The one who was created like a man. It's like the Rav brings the example of the general, right? Of the commander. Somebody has to. What you're gonna do? A private is gonna take a charge. That little private is gonna take charge. You hear?
to the general.
I mean, the general, that's his job.
It's like it's a shame to the general.
So over here, he says, whose job is it to try to make the woman? And you know what? If it was fake, we could understand. It worked in such a little period of time, and it worked in situations where people had mamish problems. People on the verge of divorce. They said, "Wait, 1 second. You change, she'll do automatically." If people tried and it works, how is it that's not working? It's not working. You're the third level husband. You made yourself into a woman. Yes, that's. He himself says it's not going to work. On the second level husband, where you half woman, half man, he says it'll still come to work if you're first level husband. He says 100% work. You know what you have to do? We have to bring in 10 couples over here with major Shalom Bayit issues, right? And to tell the husband, listen, $1 million we're giving you. $1 million. Just be a man for the next month or two. Imagine the change over there. You understand? Like the guy with the I want my wife to die. Okay, no problem. She's dead in 3 weeks. But just give her the 3 weeks, He's not saying stamp, crazy stuff. Because at the end of the day, that's a woman, that's what she wants. And the proof is that before we get married, right, you could be the most deranged person, but you give her everything you want. I want to marry you. Ibi? How is that? And then right away after 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, what happens? No, not me. Because he stopped. But you know what? Because he stopped. But imagine this deranged person, if he still gives her this, guess what? If he still continues to give her this love that he was, she'll live like that with him forever. So what happened there? You hear?
Stop giving.
Because he was faking. And look, even in the faking it works. Even if you fake it, it works. That's the
That's why they say you fake it till you make it.
Oh, but you gotta continue to fake it.
Yesterday I had a couple. He is a lawyer. Okay? So now a lawyer, you know what it is.
Yeah.
I tell them, yeah, Habibi, that's not gonna work. You're here to give. You're not in court now. You're not in everywhere. She wants, and I'm explaining, and I see that she's doing with the eyes. How does he know what I want? So it came to a point. I told them, until you're gonna put over here that she is not you. She is totally different a creature, and she needs things that you're not accustomed to, and they are thinking something else. The computer over here, it's a different hard disk. So I told, okay. So I told them, I'll tell you what needs to be done. And that was the punching line. I told them, I can save you a lot of money. Out of the blue, you buy one flower, and you're gonna come home and say, sweetheart, that's for you. How much it costed you this flower? Let's say $10. Now, and you see that she's so excited from the what's the big deal? It's only $10. Imagine that. Because we thinking how much it cost. Yeah, she and she looks at me. She started to say, So he thought about me today. And how far is the florist from his office, right? So it means he went out of his way, and he bought me a flower. He came home, so she is starting to calculate what did he do all day until this. She got, and so it's not the flower now. The etzem, the fact of that he thought about her, and he went from the office to the florist, and back to the office, and then he came back home, and everything, the computer calculate even the mileage, right? And she was mamash אתה רואה אותה? She said, how do you know? How do you know? I said, what about that you see books of it? Of course I know. She said, so, and she did that, what, you're serious? I said, of course I'm serious. That's the way they think. You see, they have a child, and he has no clue בכלל who is he living with. No clue. פשוט. $10. And זהו. She will melt like I don't know what. Say, oh, he cares for me. That's how she calculate if you care or not. Somebody made a surprise to his wife. It was anniversary. פתאום a few Spanishin, then they're knocking on the door, and they bring a box, ענק. Who are you? What are you doing here? Says, you a delivery. From who? I didn't that. No, it's a fridge, Sub-Zero. He bought his wife Sub-Zero. No. She called him up. What is this? It's a surprise. This is for our anniversary. Tell him to take it back. I don't want it. Balagan. Now it was I'm gonna choke her. It cost me $50,000, and she's making a balagan. Like her mother, exactly the mother, she's the same thing, but צועק. You see already כבר פה, his veins, they're coming out, he's כזה עצבני, you know, he's full of... So I took him out, I told him, come on. I told him, you tembel, you idiot. Why? I told him, a fridge, everybody can use it. Your kids will open it up. Your mother will open it up. Everybody will open it up. This is not a gift. You should buy even one flower. What? $10 instead of the 15,000 that you spent. What? $10 will make it much better.
It's for fun.
But this man, they don't understand this. His language of emotional, they don't understand. No man understand this language. That's it's חבל, באמת.
כבוד הרב, some רבנים, they don't understand this language.
מה?
I approached one rabbi, I said, why don't you teach about emotional intelligence? Emotional intelligence?
It's not for them. It's like you take it. It's like you're going to take me to be a shochet. I cannot. Not my department. Why can they say this is not my department? Go to people that this is their department.